to Lent 2026. This is, as it has been for the previous 4 years, it's an enormous honor for me to stand up here and welcome you to this festival. It's a week that we work towards throughout the entire year, and most of the things we do in Bloomington Early Music are directed towards this event, and to us, this is the reason that we exist. It's bringing the community together to hear music that was created by communities. You're going to hear that word a lot this week, I think. And I want to, first of all, I just want to thank a few people. I want to thank our board, who have worked very hard, so every member. The new members, the not so new members, the old members, and Alan for always being here. Thank you. And I want to thank our staff. Steve is around somewhere. Stephen Warnock, who just holds us together. Sam is off with baby number 2 right now. Baby number 1 was due the same day baby number 2 was, just 2 years separated. So he's doing what he should be doing right now, but he handles our marketing and promotion, so we're really grateful to him. Kirby in the back has been with us for a number of years now, and so grateful. He keeps us organized and rolling forward, and reminds us when stuff is due, which is I'm very grateful for. And Lindsay, who is new to our staff this past year, she's in development, she's in the back there. Thank you, Lindsay. I want to thank Ben Ivers for contributing this fantastic essay in your program. If you haven't read it yet, you should. It's a couple pages in, and it helps us to figure out what it is we're even talking about when we say the words early America. And I'm really grateful to him for his insights, not only in the essay, but in conversations we had previous to his agreeing to do this essay for us. I want to thank my husband, who inspires me and who puts up with me. Sometimes in that order, sometimes in the reverse order, depending on my behavior. Many of us right now are thinking hard about who we are as Americans and who we will be as Americans. And I think the 250th, it's a lot of things, but one thing it is an opportunity for us to think about who we were back when these ideals were first put together on paper, these ideals we continue to struggle for and continue to try to achieve. And I think thinking about that's really important. But I also think this week, don't think, listen. Listen to the music, listen to the pre-concert talks, listen to what's going on in the workshops. One thing that this festival does is allow us to immerse ourselves through our other senses in the early American world, to maybe get a sense of what it was like. And I think I'm a little biased in the direction of music, but I think music is a really wonderful way to do that. And I'm thrilled that we could offer you this terrific lineup of artists. My God, we've been so fortunate every year, and this year no less than the others. I have a number of people to thank here. Those I haven't already. It's a wonderfully long list. The following foundations are commissions and local businesses for their invaluable and continuing support of our festival and the year-round operations that we put forward. First of all, the 2026 Bloomington Early Music Festival is part of America 250 celebration, for which we thank the Indiana Arts Commission and the National Endowment for the Arts. We thank the Allen Whitewell Clues Charitable Foundation. They really support us strongly in our operations, as does the Indiana Arts Commission. The Bloomington Arts Commission and the Bloomington Urban Enterprise Association have been consistent supporters of us for over the years, way before my time. Visit Bloomington has helped us enormously to support our marketing and promotions, particularly outside of our city walls. Bloomington Gramophone, thank you, Steve Sobiek, every year for your exceptional work and for your support. And thank you to Trinity Episcopal Church for hosting us for this entire week of concerts. If you picked up a brochure, it claims that tomorrow is at Far Center. That is not the truth. Tomorrow evening is right here. And also Trinity asked me to be sure that you know where the restrooms are and the water. There's unisex restroom right around the corner here, and then there's a hallway that goes behind the altar here, and there are more restrooms and water fountains back there, so you access it through here. Through here, you'll also see our new neighbors' art exhibit, children's art exhibit. This not being Far Gallery, we could not hang it on the walls, but it's out here in this beautiful room that has a name that I don't know. So we are thankful also to our community, especially the Polyphony Society members who really do give us strong support throughout the year. Our festival underwriter, Paul Borg, he's dedicated this festival to the early peoples of the United States, and that's an intentionally broad statement. So, Paul, thank you for all the support that you've given us. We also want to thank me and my husband, the Milanas, because we are apparently angels. That's what it says on our list. Our benefactors, Bill Baus, thank you so much. I know you're here. Where are you? There you are. Thank you. J. Peter Burkholder and Doug McKinney, thank you for everything. Just this. Kathleen Cameron, just stalwart supporter, and we're always so grateful. Jack Donskow and Jean Person, same to you, thank you. You're just the faces I think of when I think of the Polyphony Society. Linda Handelsman, who has, we met on a random night when I wandered into a stranger's house on Fest, and we met, and then 20 years later, we're like, hey, I think I know you. And she has become just a dear friend, and I'm so grateful. Ingrid Matthews is also, she's been so supportive of us. As a board member and for housing all our junk, and and it's just a joy, really. It's not just your house that I love you for, but it's beautiful. Lynn Schwartzberg and Peter Haralovich, thank you for the reception work, for just being such a strong presence, and just I run out of words really. And Leah Shapkow, who is consistently has our back, and we're eternally grateful for that. Our opening night performance by the Franklin Quartet is generously sponsored by J. Peter Burkholder and Doug McKinney. Thank you for that. Peter will be in a moment introducing the ensemble. A couple corrections, other than that one in the trifold. The workshop tomorrow, it's not a correction, it's just notice, you may have seen in the front that the workshop tomorrow has been postponed, hopefully until the fall. The workshop leader was called away on tribal business, and that's something that we take very seriously, so we're grateful to him for letting us know a couple of days ahead of time. So we have the afternoon off tomorrow. Another correction, and Marika, I've known Marika now for a few years. One of the violinists this evening, for those of you who were here for the pre-concert, heard her speak, and she'd like to clarify that while she does play the viola, she's not playing it tonight. She's playing the violin tonight, and Daniel is playing the viola. So that's on me. I did the program, and I'm very sorry. I claim to know about music, but I can't tell the difference between the viola and the violin. So as I said, this evening, this week is as much about community as it is about music. And because you are our community, we hope that you will consider continuing to support the festival. This week, our artists will share music that has been shaped by many places, traditions, and journeys, and by the remarkable ways that people come together across cultures, across circumstances, to create something meaningful. That's what happened for our country as we continue to craft that country, and it's what happens in music. I think musicians have a real keen sense of ensemble, of working together, and of sensing each other's needs. In order to keep this festival resilient and sustainable and accessible, including free tickets, including all the accessibility efforts that we make, it takes that community effort. And we are, like all arts organizations, not just many, we are facing additional strains, growing financial challenges. You'll notice the festival's a couple days shorter this year. That's kind of the result of these things. So we have free admission. We would appreciate donations on your way out the door or on your way in the door. We could suggest $10 to $20, whatever you feel makes a real difference to you. We do really sustain ourselves by larger gifts from audience members and supporters who believe in the long term of this. We are at 30-ish years, given we can't count that well. We're just musicians. And if you feel that this is important to you, and if you feel that BLEM has made a difference to you over the years, if it's brought you joy, if it's brought you connection or inspiration, which we hope that it does, and that's our goal, we invite you to help it keep going. You can give us your support through the donations basket in the back. Kirby is here in the back with his credit card reader. She should be so inspired. We have our giving tree, which makes its appearance twice annually, once at our soiree and once, over the course of the festival. That has leaves on it with specific needs at specific price points and specific colors. So pick your favorite color. I hope it's purple. And then of course through our website. So your generosity really helps to ensure that this music keeps going, that the scholarship that we try to bring to the community keeps coming through, and that we can remain here for years to come. So thank you so much for being a part of that. I now want to turn it over to J. Peter Burkholder, a dear friend, and our first introducer and our next speaker.
Welcome to the opening night concert of the Wilmington Early Music Festival. In line with our theme, Early Music and Early America, we'll hear tonight a program that recreates a musicale that might have been heard at Ben Franklin's house in Philadelphia in the 1980s. With music by composers he admired, performed on instruments of his time by a quartet named for him. We begin with the great Italian Luigi Boccherini, who spent most of his career in Spain, having passed through Paris briefly, but not overlapping with Ben Franklin. And we end with Haydn's student Ignace Pleyel, who was active in Strasbourg when he wrote the quartet we'll hear tonight, and showed up in Paris about 10 years after Ben Franklin left and became an important publisher and piano manufacturer. The others on the concert found their greatest success in Paris, overlapped with Franklin while he was there, and either met him or may have met him. They include German-born Henri-Joseph Rigel, best known for oratorios and operas, François-Joseph Gossec, famed for operas, quartets, and symphonies, and Joseph Bologna, Chevalier de Saint-Georges, the most famous black composer of his time, whose concertos, symphonies, and quartets have only recently been brought back to life by ensembles such as this one that we'll hear today. So from Philadelphia, please welcome the Franklin Quartet.
Were full of memories, manuscripts, and distinct from yet deeply connected to Europe. And Franklin knew perhaps better than anyone how much the two worlds had to offer each other. As we mark 250 years of that extraordinary American story, what better way to celebrate than through the music Franklin loved?
Before we dive into the first piece, I wanted to share with you a quick note about the first composer we're playing, Luigi Boccherini. He happens to be one of my favorite composers. I find that when I see my friends play on stage, I can see so much of their personality in the music they're playing. And with Boccherini's music, I have that same sense by hearing his music. You can tell that he's a very gentle and kind person. And the way he writes, in his melodies you can hear that, but also what he notes in his parts. He writes very often piano, pianissimo, dolcissimo, and dolce, and you can kind of see that man who's very gentle and soft-spoken, who's inviting you in to what he's trying to tell you, and he's very sparkling, but soft-spoken and kind and gentle, and we're hoping we can convey that to you with these first two movements.
when we think of the august, great gentlemen who were the founding fathers of this country 250 years ago, people like Ben Franklin, behind them or possibly beside them were great women. And this concert can be considered indebted to the great woman of Madame Anne-Louise Bouillon de Jouy. And we all here are indebted to her in a way. She was definitely the hostess with the mostest. Was a very good friend of Ben Franklin for a reason, because she was such a fascinating person and befriended all of the philosophers and great thinkers of her time and invited them to her salon to enjoy the company of each other and great musicians of the time. She herself was unfortunately not published, but a very accomplished composer herself, and enjoyed inspiring the greatest contemporary musicians of the day to play their music for each other and for her other guests in her salon. So why we're having a chamber music concert like this today is as much indebted to Madame de Bouillon de Jouy as our dear friend Ben Franklin. So, to her.
Special thanks to Suzanne. It's been really a pleasure coming here, and between Lindsay and Stephen, that warm welcome with this, you guys have to come as guests sometime because you get the best little care package with homemade muffins and granola bars and little mixed drinks and gift certificates. It's just fabulous. Thank you all so much. And also to Payson. Yes, for leading that discussion. I thought that was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed every minute of that. So thank you all so much.
commemorative year for